Before granting you entry to the United States, we have a few simple questions. It's just a formality.
Okay.
I'm actually Irish myself.
False.
No, I hadn't started.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Question 1. The United States is governed by two major parties. Can you name them?
The gun lobby and big tobacco.
What is the name of America's national holiday?
Black Friday.
In what state is the city of Chicago?
State of violence.
What is America's most dominant race?
The 100-meter butterfly.
Quick fire round. Finish these sentences. America is the greatest something in the world.
Weapons exporter.
Martin Luther King had a...
Tough time getting equal rights.
Finally, the United States was founded in...
Dubious circumstances surrounding land claims from indigenous people.
Welcome to America.
All right.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my show. This is Ram from Hire Bunch of Fire Bunches, and I'm your personal assistant for job application, job interview, and anything about jobs. Yeah, man, it's been tough, and ever since 2023 kicked in from New Year, and we heard about news about big companies lay off. And it actually is gonna get more. But anyway, well, besides job interviews, there's also other different kinds of interview. And today we're gonna talk about actually, especially for you guys, international students, which I was part of you guys decades ago. Yep, like I said it myself on the first episode. That first ever episode, I was I started international study in the United States of America, and then the story just went on. So I believe for most of you guys who's trying to get to the US through the student visa, today's episode is really helpful. But for other people, it's interesting to watch because I'm going to share some personal experience. In the meantime, I believe interview skills are kind of universal, right? It's just a thing that you need to learn through your lifetime for helping you get your access or get your door, one foot to the door, to something greater. That's how I see it, interview skills. But anyway, so today's episode, I'm gonna go over why and what F1 student visa interview is. And in the meantime, I'll talk about how you can prepare wonderfully and an easy skill to help you get through this special type of interview. All right, so long for short, same old, hire a bunch of fire bunches. For any of you who's not watching on YouTube for the video, make sure you guys check my YouTube handler. I also got Twitter and Instagram, IG. So make sure you check all those, right? Cool. And the first thing we want to do is, what the heck is F1? So this is according to the official government website, which is the United Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. According to them, F1 student visa are visas that are needed by people who enrolled in academic and educational program, language training program, basically English as your second language, or vocational program, maybe some college, associate degree, whatever. And the school must provide you the certain paperwork so that you can have those paperwork to apply for your F1 visa. And also part of the important process is the F1 visa interview, so that the immigration department or the U.S. Department of the State, Homeland Security, all can align in the same agreement and grant you a visa you can use to get into the United States of America and continue or start your academic programs based on the USCIS official website. Now, why do you have to do a F1 student visa interview? This is actually a very interesting question, because for some people a visa is not required. visa is not required, and for most of us visa is required. But for visa interview, some people doesn't, they don't have to do it. You can just send your paperwork to US department and have them review it and approve it, grant you a visa. But most people go into the visa because according to one of my attorneys, a visa interview might be the quickest way to grant you the visa stamp, because everything just in one process, right? You take your paperwork, you take your documentations, and you go to the interview. Everything face to face, one time. You got it, you got it. You don't, you got rejected and waited for a bit and apply for another interview, right? But according to the official website of travel.state.government, a consular officer, which is the interviewer, will interview you to determine your qualification, whether or not you can get a student visa right away, and may also request for additional document and also maybe process. So that's how it is. Well, that's not the key point for today's episode, but well, I can see that it's kind of similar to the job interview we ever talked about, because it is an interview. But first of all, when I was preparing my F1 visa interview, some people kind of suspected that it's getting more difficult because of the 911. But here I have a very interesting survey. I believe it was done by some Harvard University. I think this person's graduation paper or essay, something from Harvard Department of Treasury. Maybe this is doctor or a professor. I don't really dig into it. From this person's research, actually, ever since 911, here you go. So annual non-immigrant interest. So those people most likely need a visa when they get into US. Ever since 2001, actually, of course, there's a there's a period of time that the visas application dropped because everybody worried about their security. But ever since then, it's actually increased. And from this one, non-immigration monthly entries since 2001, the 911, unfortunately, there is actually a hype or peak that people apply more visa. So the main thing I believe in a F1 interview or F1 visa interview is to first of all check are you qualified for what you apply for, which is the academic program or whichever grants you the F1 student status, so you can apply for F1 visa. And second of all, the counselor or the interviewer is looking for if you are coming to the US for staying here, because as the title of the visa, it's non-immigrant visa. So the counselor will test if you have tendency or if you have any idea that you think you're going to immigrate to the US through the student visa. That's definitely a no-no. And thirdly, they want to know if you have a capability to live, study, and make sure you, I won't say that you can graduate, but at least have the basic skill sets you can get through the academic program. So, for such like language, if you're speaking language fluently, of course, some type of visa like travel visa, you can hire a translator, interpreter to help you alongside your visa interview. But for the academic visa like student F1 visa, you definitely need zilch interpreter or translator. You're gonna go by yourself. Otherwise, unless you have some, you need some accessibility of accommodations for something. You know what I mean? I have this very good example of some of the questions. Very basic, they got few categories from internationalstudent.com. Very good website, no sponsorship by the way. They got 5 views. Your study plan, are you ready for anything? Do you know what you're studying for? Do you know a little bit about your majors, professors, whatever? And why do you choose this college? Hey, this is also actually one of my interview questions, or two actually. Has any college experience changed to prepare you for this career, or what would you like to change in your college? Well, not related to today's episode, but check those out. Well, and then your academic capability, which what I said, if you have language skills, where you learn your English, are you fluent in English academically, and also financial status. Show me your documentations of your financial support for your study in United States of America, and post-graduation plans. This is actually kind of like a flag. Like I tell you, you cannot show any tendency of immigrating or immigration. You are not gonna tell them you're gonna stay in the United States of America unless your academic program indicates that. But that's rare case. So you want to make sure you tell them where you going after graduate. Basically, go back to your home and what's your plan. Let's pick up one or two. Why do you want to study in the U.S.? Of course, U.S. has the most advanced college, world ranking, global ranking, whatever you want. And my major or my program is what I like, and I have such and such connections, interest, or goals to achieve in this college, things like that. And some of the question, like how many colleges did you apply to? Easy. Have you ever been to the US? Yes, maybe, no. Travel, my family, friends, invitations, or some games, exhibition, anything. But make sure you show your proof. If you have ever been to the US, make sure you show your passport, your previous visa, or flight tickets. Question about academic. Okay, this is interesting. Capability, your GPA, what's your score, SAT for a bachelor's degree, GMAT, GRE, how good is your English? Basically, people who has to do this visa interview, they probably need to take TOEFL, right? I think it was English as a test of the English as a second language speaker, something like that. TOEFL. Show them your grades or the score report, something like that. What do you know about the U.S. school? Well, you don't have to know all of them, but just tell them what you know. But hey, there you go. Tips. I do have similar episode talking about research, right? So if you apply for a FV visa interview, who is going to be your employer, quote unquote? Yes, your school. So research. Know how to research your employer, potentially, quote unquote, the school. So check this episode. Okay, sponsorship advertisement ended. And also financial status. I think this is a very straightforward part. Tell them how much money you're gonna spend, and tell them how much money you're gonna get from your financial support. It doesn't matter your national loans, whatever, from your local country or your parents. So show them documentation like your parents' salary, pay stub, or saving account statement. I know you guys are rich guys or girls, but hey, make sure you have all the proof. Question about post-graduation. Like I said, tell them you have no tendency to stay in the U.S. because this is a non-immigration visa. But tell them why you want to go back to home, or what's your plan at home after graduate. Well, besides that, I do have some personal preferences. For a preparation of such interview, make sure you have all the documentation that required. And make sure you prepared all questions, right? And answers, watching my video. And make sure when you watch my video, when you preparing your question answers, make sure you know how to do research. Research United States, research location that you're gonna study with the apply to college or admitted college. And of course, research your college. Maybe some of the famous alumni, I went to a college that I have an alumni who graduated from my college like decades ago, and also being one of the presidents in the United States of America. I didn't tell you who that is, but yeah. So I did all that research. So yeah, and of course the last but not the ultimately but not lastly, what? Dress code. And by the way, I also have a couple videos about dress code for interview. I'm pretty sure this interview is definitely formal interview, so make sure you pick up the right dress code. But in the meantime, you also student, so I gotta say you have more freedom space or freedom of options than actually a job interview as of dressing code. But still, yeah, check those videos. So that's pretty much it. You know, all kinds of different preparations, but you know your goals, you know why you were there at the interview, and you know how to prepare it. So I'm pretty sure you're ready for the F1 visa interview. Okay, so at the end of the video, I'm gonna talk about free giveaways. Make sure you comments below your most difficult questions or tough situation during job application and job interview, and I'm going to pick up 1 or 2 or 3 of you guys, girls, comments, and make free video for each of those. Okay, so again, this is Fire Bunches, and my name is Ram. I'll see you when I see you for the next episode. Peace out.